So this is this is like a legal channel. This is interesting. It's called Legal Mindset, and look what they're working on. Oh my goodness, they're working on the Nijisanji termination of Selen Tatsuki. Actual lawyer reacts. So this person is an actual lawyer. And so they're looking over like all the documents and everything, and it's pretty much what we said, where maybe some people may have outed themselves as the bullies. Maybe a corporation is responsible for managing their talent. Like all the things that we've already said is pretty much what this guy covered. And like, as a lawyer, like usually people are like, no comment. My lawyer is gonna take care of it. But Nijisanji's like, hold my beer. And then they just like went like they went ham in the wrong direction. So anyways, it's kind of funny to see that, like, like other YouTubing channels are covering it now. I think even like Muta covered it as well. A lot of these videos are a little bit long, like usually around like 26 to 30 minute marks. So definitely I encourage you to if you're interested in like the legality side of it, definitely give this a watch. But yeah, just like it's so interesting to see like what, like our little VTuber world has like suddenly exploded into like kind of like mainstream channels as well. So it's like, what? Yeah, it's like pretty clear cut. Nijisanji, you done goofed. I mean, we all knew this would come, but it's just amazing that like, as like a lawyer is like looking at it now. I'm like, yes, mwah, beautiful. Essentially, lawyer is kind of like, yeah, Niji, that was probably not the coolest thing you've ever done. So anyways, give it a watch. It's pretty interesting, and I just thought that was pretty lols that this guy's covering it too. And then I have one more thing. This is from Reddit, so it's a little bit of a read. So I'll hope that you bear with me when I read through it. So let's take a look. Let's see here. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for the head pat. Thank you, Cloud. Okay. So let's start from the beginning, which is a very good place to start. This is from the Nijisanji Reddit, and it says, I worked in comms for a living and can only think of one explanation for Nijisanji's bizarre PR strategy. Okay. I'm interested to see how this is gonna work, because like they're like, maybe they did this on purpose, perhaps. So let's take a look. Like everyone else, I've been confused and dismayed by Nijisanji's bizarre self-destructive approach to first breaking the news of Selen's termination, then responding to Dogibur's statements. Fans have thrown a lot of theories to explain Niji's approach, ranging from plausible-sounding accounts of the facts to feverish rats straight from the belly of VT, which is 4chan. I can't claim any special inside knowledge about the specifics of the facts of the situation, but I do work in comms for a living and can speak to the general dynamics at play in public disputes between highly visible actors in which one or both parties are subject to NDAs. Based on my professional experience and my knowledge of the statements from Nijisanji and Dokibird, the explanation here seems fairly obvious. Nijisanji misinterpreted the personal account of workplace bullying that Selen sent them shortly before her firing, and they misrepresented this document hard. Okay, fair. Okay, I'm interested. I wonder. I guess this person works with actors, or it's kind of really hard to say this person what they do, but all right, let's go on a limb here. And let's continue. I don't know if Niji missed the mark here, because Selen's accompanying document for this account was ambiguous because there was a mistaken translation from one or both law firms. This is, translation mistakes, like in legal documentation, that can be, yikes. Or because of EN management adopted a wholly cynical interpretation of the document to try this defense in the court of public opinion, but I'm pretty confident that everything that's happened so far can be explained by this fundamental failure to communicate. If I'm right, the timeline goes something like this. All right. Selen posted her last cup of coffee music video for Perm's approval. Management leaves her on red for 37 hours, then fails to get back to her for another 15 hours. So Selen goes ahead and posts a video without final perms check. There's a lot that we don't know about the background and context here. For instance, had management already seen the video prior to its final check? If yes, why haven't they raised the issue with the graduated livers proactively? If no, why hadn't they seen this video during the months-long process of its creation? By the way, it took an entire year. It took an entire year creation, so it's crazy that, that nobody checked in. Did anyone in management give Selen a deadline for perms check that she just blew by? I tend to think that the answers to these questions are not favorable to Nijisanji, since they would have shown evidence that Selen was at fault for a missed Christmas release date during Elria's stream spawns if evidence existed. Regardless, the answer to these questions actually do not matter for a breakdown of Niji's thought process throughout the subsequent PR nightmare. Both management and talent reach out to Selen about her decision to post a music video without full perms, and shortly after this, she attempts her life. Management reaches out to Selen's emergency contact and removes Selen's access to socials, putting a skin-walked explanation for her absence on December 18th. Yes, that's correct. Again, there's not a lot we know here. Were other talent/management mocking, cruel, or abusive in their communication, or were their words just misinterpreted as such by Selen? If talent management were abusive, this was a one-time thing or part of a larger pattern of behavior. Once again, the following version of events makes sense no matter how you answer these questions. The thing that matters here is that any version of these events, a comms team involved in the decision-making process realizes at this exact moment that they're dealing with a potential PR nightmare. I mean, I don't even know if... I mean, they must have a PR team, but, they're obviously not doing a good job because, everything kind of went to crap. It would be disastrous if the public learned that the beloved liver Selen Tatsuki attempted her life because of harassment or mismanagement at Nijisanji EN workplace. It's not actually Com's job to manage the frayed relationship with talent, but at this point, there are probably discussions about potential responses depending on which way the situation develops. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I feel like this is more of an HR problem and not like a PR problem, but I guess it turns into a PR problem. Selen hires legal representation to help mediate her business relationship with Nijisanji, and both parties discuss potential next steps and remedies. Talks between Selen and management about a return to Nijisanji breakdown, and both sides realize that some sort of split is inevitable by late January. Okay. Nijisanji wants Selen to explain that music video was taken down because of negligence on her part. Selen believes that management is responsible for the failure, and additionally has other grievances about how she's been treated in Nijisanji before, during, and after the inciting incident. Completely fair. Per Doki Bird's first statement on the matter, she's asked to leave Nijisanji on neutral terms in January 26. Per her second statement on the matter, Nijisanji's legal team was unresponsive after this request. Gross. And we all know what happens. Frustrated by Nijisanji's unresponsiveness, Selen's lawyer suggests she sends a personal account of her experiences to Nijisanji's to their legal team in order to help them understand her grievances. That's fair. If my understanding of the situation is accurate, this is the exact moment that everything goes to poop. Per Nijisanji's termination notice, we know that Selen has told Nijisanji through her legal representation that she intends to speak up about her experiences at Nijisanji if she's terminated. Moreover, Selen Tatsuki insists that if negotiations did not progress, she would proceed to release a statement regarding her claims to the public. That is completely justified and fair. Now they received a document written in a personal tone alleging all sorts of abusive practices from management and or talent, filled with potentially sensitive information about other livers. Per Selen's second statement, she wrote this account to document my thoughts and history with evidence during my darkest times mentally, and included it in privacy information that should not be public. Someone in Nijisanji's legal team comes to a conclusion cynically or naively, yeah, I guess so, based on ambiguous instructions from Selen or based on bad translations from staff, it doesn't matter, that this is Selen's that this account of Selen's is, in fact, the statement that she intends to release if she's terminated, and this scrambles all the jets. I mean, that could be the reason why they did the black thumbnail video. Immediately, the comms team goes into full crisis mode and scrambles to get termination out the door so they can get the first word in. Oof. In my experiencing working comms during times of crisis, perfect immediately goes out the window and is replaced by quick. There is enormous advantage to being the first actor to explain their version of events to the public, and even very experienced comms teams know that will make sloppy mistakes to this race to publish. Okay. With this context in mind, it's easy to see how Nijisanji screwed up the response to Selen's account of workplace conditions. Remember, Nijisanji's legal team has already been given notice of Selen's intent to publish a statement if negotiations fall apart, and presumably have already advised her legal representation about potential risks that come with violations of an NDA. They now see this document and have decided that it's a copy of Selen's statement, so they think that she's decided on publishing this even after have being warned about the consequences of violating the NDA. Comms likely isn't party to any of this communication, but they are given a copy of the statement themselves and are told, legal says Selen intends to publish this. Ooh, okay. This is obviously, we're taking this with a grain of salt, guys, because we really don't know, but this sounds pretty plausible. They're trying to go into damage control. They're trying to get their side of the story first, because then, you know, it's like, you're like, you come at, it's kind of like when, you know, like you're trying to get the teacher's attention and be like, no, that's not what happened. This what happened. So then the teacher's like, okay, this is my first account of what happened. And then people are like, no, they said this. And they're like, based on my first account, I'm not sure what the truth is. So like, I kind of get what they're saying here, but okay. The comms team pulls up termination notice they've already written for Selen, and they add a bunch of defensive language to get ahead of the claims of the document. Copy like, Aniko believes the claims raised by Selen Tatsuki are in fact referring to situations that arose when she was warned about her breaches of the activity rules and attempts to shift the responsibility for these violations, damaging Aniko and Nijisanji Ian's image. Aniko firmly believes that we and these other livers under our affiliation have not engaged in unjust practices towards Selen Tatsuki. It makes no sense unless the comms professional writing expects it, and claims raised by Selen Tatsuki are available for public consumption in the near future. This solves the first mystery of why did Nijisanji allude to bullying from talents when Doki did not? Niji's legal team understood that Selen's private account of her experience to be a public tell-all account that management then instructed comms to preempt. Okay. So Niji thought that statement was the statement that was going to go out. So they're like, oh God, we got to refute this particular piece of paper. Okay. Additionally, comms also begins to brace for Selen's statement by preparing to counter specific allegations she raises. And at least some of these allegations involve specific livers. So the comms team, working with legal, shows talent selected portions of Selen's document in order to coach them on the statement about any sensitive information regarding their past life. Workplace communications, etc. This explains the second mystery of why did Elria, Vox, and Ike, Millie, Enna, etc. see portions of Selen's document. Comms believes that each of the talent would need to respond to specific allegations about their behavior and begin prepping these statements based on legal's failure to understand the nature of Selen's account. So yeah, essentially they did out themselves that they were the ones in the document. Like it's very clear, but okay. Very, very interesting. Immediately after Nijisanji's termination notice, Dirty Bird releases her own prepared statement that does not include sensitive information or specifics, but does reveal her attempt and confirms with the general claim that she believed Niji En was an abusive workplace. Workplace environment. Within an hour of Nijisanji's termination of Selen Tatsuki, Doki Bird rises from the ashes and publishes a prepared statement that's obviously been checked by her legal representation, which is very smart. From PR perspective, it's hard to imagine how this could have gone anywhere for Nijisanji. It's true. Doki Bird's statement begins with, I will not be silenced anymore, reminding the public of the still recent #WhereIsSelen controversy. Yes, because that's what kind of brought up everything. If people were like, what's going on? It's been a month. What the hell? She brings up bullying, but leaves it ambiguous whether talent, management, or both are implicated, making Nijisanji's preemptive mention of talent seem like yet another instance of the company throwing its livers under the bus. That's true. Finally, she brings up the attempt revealing that Nijisanji covered up the serious tragedy for over a month and puppeted Selen's account to reassure the public. Gross. Seeing the massive poop storm, their failed strategy has caused legal, talent, management, and comms all begin to flail, leading to the PR disaster that was Elria's stream. Honestly, I can't even begin to hazard a guess at the precise series of events that led to this stream. There are too many unknowns about the specific of Selen's allegations at this point. Too many parties desperate for vindication who might conceivably be in a position to dictate how the company should organize its last-ditch efforts at crisis PR. You can read Elria's stream as a disgusting attempt to provoke Selen into revealing her grievances with Nijisanji so they can be litigated in the public square. A talent-initiated response to their real fear of personal information being leaked that management cynically encouraged in order to deflect from their own failures or any number of possibilities. The bottom line is that Nijisanji's talking points do not update to reflect the new terrain of the public dispute. They continue to treat Doki as a walking, talking brand risk despite her clear interest in just moving on from the controversy. And this just creates a whole new set of fan grievances and lurid theories of conspiracies and cliques. Oh, goodness. Not yet understanding how Niji has misinterpreted her account of the workplace conditions, Doki fires back on Twitter, explaining her understanding that this document was private. At this point, Doki responds to the ill-conceived Elria stream, rightfully conveying her shock that this document was shared with other livers. She also speculates if Talent was given access to her medical records, igniting yet another round of accusation and attacks. This was pretty bad. I would have been concerned too if I was Doki. This is not an unreasonable concern. Legal is once again called in to assess the accusation of leaking private HR documents / medical records, which would be incredibly damaging if true, and at some point, someone finally realizes the scope of the miscommunication. Okay. So essentially, TLDR, this Redditor thinks that the entire thing is just a chalked up to miscommunication. Speaking as a comms professional, I'm almost certain that the next statement we get from Nijisanji was written by a lawyer covered in flop sweat and covering their own ass rather than in-house comms team. The statement alleges that in order to check the validity of Selen and her lawyer's claims, Any Color Inc. shared only necessary parts of the information sent by her lawyer with our livers and have led an internal investigation. Ignoring the fact that sharing any of the information on this account of workplace abuses would be in violation of Selen's request that the document to remain private, and ignoring the fact that livers would not necessarily need to be informed of these specific allegations in order for Nijisanji to investigate the validity of Selen's claim. They also write that they have not given any talent any of the specific information and documents which Selen's lawyers request that we do not share with our livers, which fluent readers of legalese will notice is different from the specific information and documents which Selen's lawyer requested we keep private from all non-legal department parties. Okay, so this is essentially saying that, I'm kind of confused about this. So essentially it's saying that, sorry, it's the flop sweat really got me going. Oh my goodness. Okay, so essentially it should have remained private, but they showed it to the livers that were kind of mentioned in the document. Okay, so this statement ends with, we investigated ourselves and found no evidence of wrongdoing. Yeah, right. Type reassurance, but reading between the lines, it's clear that something has broken down with Nijisanji's handling of private documents. Yes. Nijisanji's legal team has invented a new reason for why Talent was shown this document to cover for their initial misunderstanding of what the document actually was, but the writing's still on the wall for everyone who is paying attention. And then it says, around the same time of this statement, Doki walks back on the claim of leaked medical information, but reiterates that some of her information was improperly shared. She once again explains she just wanted to move on from this chapter of her life, and by this point, legal and comms understand that there's a possibility to de-escalate this situation. Someone from Nijisanji's side makes an overture to Doki's lawyer, and the last two parties begin addressing the underlying misunderstanding. Okay. Finally, Doki posts a final statement that explains the pertinent document alludes to some unspecified miscommunication without admitting any specific fault on her part, reiterates her intention to keep private information private, and calls for all fans to cease harassing talents. Okay. More than anything discussed so far, it is the final statement that has me convinced this whole disaster started with Legal's failure to properly understand Selen's account of her experience. Doki's final tweet reads like a carefully crafted statement that has been vetted by both parties in order to put the controversy to rest. Under the hood, this statement does a lot of things all at once, and it's worth unpacking them all to understand the various concerns that are being addressed. All right. Interesting. Okay. So, I mean, it's interesting to think that both parties had to agree to Doki's final statement. I mean, very possible that the possibility of that could be true because, you know, you're like, yo, we just want to get along. How do we do this? Like, it just, wow. For once, they may have actually like talked to each other and, you know, actually communicated properly on the last piece of communication. I don't know. It's an interesting theory. Okay. Anyways, let's keep going. Doki rebuts the specific claims that Elria, Ike, and Vox made towards her, explaining that the recording was a one-time remnant of a pre-event mic check, and the sensitive information was always intended to remain private. This allows her to get the last word on these allegations, avoiding any situation where fans might be left with the impression that Selen ever intended to leak this information. Okay. I mean, that was kind of weird, where she's like, oh, this was a mic test. Why? It's a little bit sussy, but okay. Doki acknowledges the potential for information to be lost in translation, thus lending support to the idea that both parties' lawyers failed to understand each other. Explaining how things ever got to this point, Doki Bird writes, all of the communication was done between lawyers and Japanese. Things are not black and white, and everything gets more complicated and muddled when lawyers are involved in a different country. That's true. When things are conveyed to multiple parties through different degrees of communication, everything turns into different narratives and different translations. This copy explicitly alludes to the general shape of the error without delving into the specifics and pointing fingers, letting Doki explain the series of miscommunications without throwing anyone under the bus. I mean, this might be probably the most truthful thing. Things are lost in translation. That's very, very likely, but okay. Then it says, importantly, for any specific parties in Nijisanji who may have misinterpreted Selen's document, Doki gives a fig leaf justification. I don't know what that is. Fig leaf justification? For Nijisanji's terrible response by explaining her intentions for public comment have changed over time. Okay. Doki writes that everything I posted public about the situation was a response. If it was a month ago, it would have been different as I was angry, but I was also very alone in my head. But it's not a month ago, and I've accepted it. 1 month before Doki's final statement would be around January 14th, before Selen requested to leave Nijisanji. If she indicated she planned to respond to a termination without public statement around this time, her words here give anyone responsible for the mishap a fig leaf excuse. You know, I gotta look that up. Fig leaf. I'm assuming that it just means like a really big leaf. What is a fig leaf excuse? In culture, fig leaf is a excuse. What? Okay, does it not? I'm like, maybe this is like a term that I've never heard of before. Is this somewhat a fig leaf excuse? Oh, you know what? Urban Dictionary. Thank you, Urban Dictionary. You know what's up. Okay. Okay. Metaphor. It says, relatively transparent ruse to hide something embarrassing behind something good or something neutral. Okay, I see. Okay, so this is, I understand. Okay, all right. Okay, I understand now. Okay, so big fig leaf that they can point in order to explain what happened. Whoever is responsible for this mishap is almost certainly losing their job, which we saw. But these few sentences give any responsible party the thinnest possible sliver of justification that they can cite to management. Anyone who sees the boulder of layoffs rolling downhill in their direction might possibly push for it to be included. Yeah, no kidding. There's definitely some layoffs involved. Doki's statement ends with a request for fans to not harass livers and a straightforward explanation of her intentions to keep these matters private. Niji Ien's credibility is on fire by now. Yep. And Doki is the only party in this dispute who fans on the outside onlookers might plausibly listen to. She's always been very clear that fans should not harass talent, but ending on this point one last time is crucial for Niji if they want to start putting out the fire. Doki has also been fairly explicit in her intentions to keep moving forward, but her comments that for those who wish to see receipts and documents or anything else, hoping I will reveal them, I'm sorry, but these things should be private and if needed between the lawyers, is the most explicit version of this message thus far. By writing this, Doki has effectively demonstrated to both her fans and Nijisanji itself that she does not intend to leak sensitive information. This single sentence conclusively addresses the fears that prompted Nijisanji to overreact and provides a commitment that Nijisanji can hold against Doki in the court of public opinion if she decides to provide receipts, while also letting her twist the knife one last time by implicitly blaming Niji for their improper handling of private information. This sentence is very cleverly written and manages to convey all the ideas very concisely, and whoever wrote it 100% knew what they were doing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess I can see that was some good wordsmithing. Finally, and most importantly, this statement was translated into Japanese. If everything I've laid out so far wasn't enough, the last detail convinces me that Doki's most recent statement was a collaboratively edited attempt at de-escalation. If I'm right that Nijisanji was somehow involved for vetting this statement, it makes sense that they'd want it translated for Japanese-only staff and shareholder board members to read. Okay, so this might be true because I know anytime like I've gone and I've tried to commission some work, I've done some on Skeb. So I don't know if you guys know what Skeb is. Skeb. .jp. So Skeb is like please have safe search on. I think it's on. No, it's not. Okay, never mind. Okay. Skeb is a website where you can like go and like get like art commissions done, right? So that is a Japanese only website. And sometimes when I think I'm pretty clear, I put my request into Google Translate and I translate from English to Japanese. What I also do is I translate the Japanese back to English to see if it makes any sense. And a lot of times it doesn't. It usually takes about 2 or 3 translations before it finally kind of makes sense. So I could see like I could see this person's point. I guess it just seems weird like a giant mega corporation doesn't have like a legal department that can handle English and Japanese, especially because you have English talent. One would think that you would have someone there who could speak all these languages, right? Especially because like Nijisanji has like a lot of different language branches, so you would think that you would hire someone who you know in HR and legal, the most important two departments. You would think that they would have hired someone who could understand everything, but it's just all, I don't know. It does seem like a little bit of a convenient excuse, but okay, let's keep going. Remember, Doki does not speak fluent Japanese herself, so someone was either hired to translate the statement or provided the service free of charge. I'm guessing it's probably the free of charge person. But anyways, it's plausible that one of Doki's many bilingual friends in the VTubing world offered to step up to clear up any miscommunications, but it seems more likely to me that someone in Nijisanji either translated the document in-house or paid for the document to be translated by an outside contractor, probably more advisable in the light of everything that's happened so far. Yeah, I guess you can just be like, oh, this third-party translator, they're the guys who screwed up, not us, Nijisanji. Anyways, I don't know. Going this route allows internal Nijisanji staff and stakeholders to easily access how the situation is being resolved, while also giving Doki a chance to explain herself to the Japanese-only audience who has largely been unsympathetic to her situation. Which is not cool, by the way. Not cool. If I am right, what should we expect to see next? Okay, so this person is laying out all of their assumptions in point form from everything that's happened from start to finish. So let's see what this comms, this person who's dealt with comms, let's see what their final kind of like wrap up is. Okay. If I'm right, what should we expect to see next? Assuming everything I laid out thus far is more or less accurate, I mean, we don't know. We don't know, but okay. Let's just expand our brains to think maybe this might be plausible. Nijisanji now has two options for the path forward. The first is a long period of silence from EN livers, followed by a gradual ramp-up of streaming and total cone of silence around the subject of Selen and her termination going forward. In this version of a PR strategy, Nijisanji would pivot from their misguided attacks and attempt to just memory hole these events. Counting on the internet's short-term attention span, this is unfortunately true, to eventually take the heat off of their talent, hoping that enough fans stick around to keep the EN branch financially viable. The second approach Nijisanji might take is one more final statement explaining the failure to communicate in general terms, apologizing profusely to Selen, and promising that those responsible have been fired out of a cannon into the sun in order to take some heat off the talent and the rest of the management. I would say the second option sounds a little bit more plausible, but okay, let's see what they say. In my experience working with public-facing companies, I found that the C-suite? I don't know. What's a C-suite? I found that the C-suite is unfortunately often loath to fully explain F-ups even after they've implemented fixes, since the same details that might lead a member of the public to forgive will also lead a shareholder to lose confidence in the stock. Yeah, I guess that's true. And that's really where their loyalties lie, the shareholders. Whether I'm right about this series of events or not, my hope is that Nijisanji makes the necessary changes to turn the ship around and then offer the public as much transparency as they reasonably can in order to dispel the cloud hanging over the remaining talent. But walking this path would require them to make damaging admissions about profound failures while also collaborating with Doki in order to ensure her wish to move forward is honored. And with all these difficulties make me believe that total memory holing of the disaster is more likely. Boo! I know, because I say the second option takes more time, work, and effort. It takes, like a retooling of the whole company, and that takes time. And they're something that probably they're not willing to do. The second approach is the correct approach, but likely they're going to stick to the first approach because that's dumb. All right. Final thoughts on this. Okay. Reduced down to its essence, the basic task of a comms team is to understand an issue of interest, analyze the public's view of the issue in real time, and craft messages that ultimately move the public's view in the client's desired direction. If the version of events I've laid out here is more or less accurate, Nijisanji's PR strategy failed because they managed to screw up these three tasks. Nijisanji's comms team may have gotten off of the wrong foot because they were given bad information.
Thanks for following, Senpai!
Oh my goodness, thanks so much for following Flexible Pikachu. I hope you enjoy the channel. Please join Discord if you can. Arigatou gozaimasu. Welcome. So it says, Nijisanji's comms teams may have gotten off on the wrong foot because they were given bad information about the issue of interest from legal, but their subsequent failures to adjust their strategy in response to Dokibur's statements and the public speculation are additional black marks in their own separate right from its original mistake. Yeah, they done goofed. All of these communications mishaps are also separate from the failures which occurred in the sphere of talent management, where EN managers failed to support and protect their most popular female streamer so badly she attempted to off herself and then hired legal representation to negotiate an exit from the company. My point in analyzing the communications dimension of this debacle is not to apologize for mismanagement of talent, but rather to explain how a bad PR response turned an intrinsically bad piece of news for the company into a catastrophic scandal that jeopardized the whole branch. Yeah, I can see that. Ironically, it might be fortunate for us that Nijisanji's comm approach missed the mark this badly, since a more competent communication strategy might have papered over those underlying problems and allowed the underlying mismanagement of talent to continue. I mean, yes, I guess that's a good point. Like the one silver lining, I guess, is just like they goofed up so badly that they exposed their, soft white underbelly of the problem, and then now they're going to actually hopefully address and fix everything. And it says here, my hope is that the catastrophe leads Nijisanji's senior leadership to take a look in the mirror and make real changes to improve talent relations, comms, translation services. But based on the moves we've seen thus far, I can't say that I'm optimistic. Same, bro, same. I mean, I want it. I want there to be a happy ending, but it seems like, I don't know, like corporation's going to be a corporate. Like it just, they have the money and the power to do the right thing, but I don't think they will, because doing the right thing would take balls and it would take courage, and I don't think Nijisanji has either of those. I think that they're just going to put their head in the sand and they're just going to wait this out. But if they want to be smart about it, you would think that you would have like, yeah, we're going to have mental health days for our talent. We're going to, you know, have better reporting processes. We're going to have better, we're going to make things, we're going to streamline processes to make permissions easier. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's so much they can do. They really should take this as a learning lesson and just be like, hey guys, like, yeah, we done goofed. But we goofed by you, the fans. We goofed by you, the talent. And I mean, shareholders, like, I don't have any sympathy for them. I'm sorry. Shareholders are looking to invest their money in something. Like they don't actually care about the product or the service. They just care about, am I getting money? So it's just, it sucks. It kind of sucks to like have to like, you know, bootlick to the shareholders too. But like ultimately your fans should be your top priority. Fans and your talents. That should be your top priority. Shareholders, you know, they can come along for the ride, but otherwise I don't think they should have, you know, they shouldn't be the top. Like you shouldn't be like having them more important than, you know, than what actually makes you money, because then, you know, that's negligible. Anyways, guys, this is my thoughts on it. Let me read some of your comments, okay? Let's see here. No. Okay, let's see here. No. Where? Oh man, I feel like I missed a lot. Hold on. Okay, let me hydrate. Oh man, I got thirsty. Ah, it's beautiful. Okay, Matron says, oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Matron. Beautiful. Ah. Okay, see here. Mad King says, Mossball, nice. Chevy Malibu 4-cylinder. Ah, nice. Very good fast rod. Vault says, the gal's brain is a wonder. Thank you. Balza says, Lydia needs to write her own The Neko's Prayer. What is that? Zerda says, a lawyer who understands the laws in Asia. Yes. Garant says, he goes very in-depth. Watch both full streams. Damn, LOL. There's also a Canadian lawyer about to start streaming for the Canadian specific side of laws. I would be interested to see. That would be awesome. Oh, Kenny, hello. Wait, Cloud says hi. Kenny says, welcome, Cloud. Bowsette said, stream snipe time. Thanks for the head pat, Cloud. Nyang, Tina the Terror says, I was just watching the lawyer vid talking about the Nijisanji stuff. Oh my goodness. Isn't that crazy, Tina? Oh my goodness. Kenny says, it's so crazy, right? Adlorn says, no! Bowsette says, real life self-reports everywhere. It's true. They don't realize. If they did, this whole situation would have turned out so different. Yeah, I know, right, Bowsette? You're so true. Cloud says, it can turn into a PR nightmare if things are not handled properly. Yes, 100%. And that's exactly what happened. Tina says, yeah, it's nuts. Mad King says, the big thing is the multiple of these narratives could be true or false all at the same time. Yeah, that's true. Comms are communications. Like here, I'll show you. It's here. It's here. This is the comms room. The In Among Us. I don't know. And I'm like, oh yeah, comms. Like this. For some reason, whenever they kept saying comms, I'm like, yeah, this room right here. This is where all the comms happen, guys. This is where that guy worked. He worked in the Among Us, and then he got yeeted. No, I'm kidding. This is comms. That's skilled. Oh, all of them have. Oh my God. Okay, we got skilled, Mira, Polis, airship, and fungal. You know what? To be fair, I guess you need comms everywhere. Man, comms are so important. It's even in every Among Us map. Maybe you shouldn't have skimped on the comms, Nijisanji. Oh my goodness. Jeez Louise. There we go. This is comms. Ah, brutal. Brutal. Sorry. Essentially just talking between public and branches and stuff. Yeah, it's true. Communication. Communication. PR? Yeah, essentially. But this communication situation could be true. While the area... Sorry, this is Matt King. Matt King says... while the area clique stuff could also be true at the same time. They could also be wrong, but we have no idea. That's a good point. Oh, thank you, Toy Bonnie, for the head pat. Meow, meow. Ataki says, hello. Lydia in chat, hello. Hi, hi, hi. How are you? Yeah, hello. Kenny says, welcome, Ataki. Mad King says, hi, Ataki. Bowsette says, only miscommunication here is between the guy's brain and his smartphone. LOL. Ataki says, thanks for the welcomes. I'll be here, but I'll be lurking. No worries. Thanks so much for the lurk. Every lurk helps. Mad King says, yeah, if all this comms errors, it's way too many comm errors. And then Tina says, having worked in marketing comms, it's always bizarre to try to understand how this happens. I think sometimes businesses get too wrapped up in treating everything professionally instead of acknowledging that humans involved. Oh my God, Tina, so true. 100%. You're absolutely right. It's just the human element is so critical that they say the whole it's not personal, it's business. But like there's a little bit of personal in there. You know, there's still a person on the other side. So yes, you're absolutely right, Tina. Durant says legal mindset did agree with some of this, but at the same time he disagreed with some of it too. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Buzzette says a simple miscommunication. My buns. Mad King says, yeah, it's always a lot. Legal says, sorry, Dozy says, legal mindset sounded too opinionated for a law person to me. Ah, okay, good point. Did you watch all 13 hours, Dozy? Because he also takes Niji's side in a bunch of stuff. But he's also a corporate lawyer, so he sounds opinionated. Yeah. Corporate lawyer, babe. It sucks. It sucks. Man, corporations just grind my gears, you know? Kenny says it's an interesting theory, but I'm not sure that it's true. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. Nico says, I'm just happy Doki lives. It would be crappy to deal with a company like Nijisanji. It's true. It's true. Like this could have gone so horribly. It could have gone so bad. I mean, I'm so glad that she's still alive and with us, and she's thriving, and she's doing great. It's like, oh, man. This poor lady, she went through so much. It just sucks. It just sucks. But I'm glad that she's like a phoenix rising from the ashes. That's awesome. I'm so happy for her. Let's see here. Tina says, I've always heard a fig leaf like a peace offering kind of thing. I know, yeah, the fig leaf confused me too. The fig leaf was a big thing hiding something. You know, it was a big oh my God, hold on. I understood it when I read it. Okay. Fig leaf excuse. Urban Dictionary. What was that guy? Relatively transparent ruse to hide something embarrassing behind something good or something neutral. Okay, sorry, let me repeat that again. Relatively transparent ruse to hide something embarrassing behind something good or something neutral. So it's like bigger than the thing, I guess. It's so big it's trying to hide the thing. Kind of almost like a compliment sandwich, kind of, except you know, like a open face compliment sandwich. Sorry, this cat is so cute. It's like look at it. It's like da, 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 and then they put the flower on his head, and he's just like, eh. Look at this. Ah, does not like it. Oh my goodness, not this one. It's not this one. Do not read that second fig leaf one. Oh goodness. Nope, nopers. Nico says 45 viewers. Let's go. Hi, 45 viewers. Durant says olive branch is a peace offering usually. Kenny says, I think it's trying to convey she's giving them an easy out. Yes, by saying it was a miscommunication. That's true. That's true. I think we all know it's a bit more than a miscommunication, but she might want to accept that so it'll go away. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're right. That's a good point. Bowsette says, seems like to me, people mentioning that are trying to slide that into the possibilities. Wait, hold on. I need to read this again. Seems to me, people mentioning that are trying to slide that into the possibilities on the down low. Ah, I see. Okay. Durant says she pretty much does want it to go away, and thankfully Niji has listened to their lawyers to shut up. Yes. Stop talking about it! Bowsette says they're trying to control the narrative still. Volt says, Skeb the art hub. It is. Oh no. Thanks for the bonk, James. Oof. JP to Ian translations always mess up the gender. Oh, yeah, I can see that. Thanks for the hydrate, Durant. Ah, that's good. Bowsette says they didn't have the loud American. That's for damn sure. I know, right? Hello. A key employee was missing, Bowsette. You're absolutely right. The loud American. If they just had their own two loud Americans yelling at each other, they would have been able to sort it out. You're absolutely right, Bowsette. Kenny says, this comms guy has so many assumptions. Yeah, that's true. Mont Orange says, the comms guy brain cells. Oh my goodness. C-suite means executives. Oh, is that what that means? I thought it was like a programming language. Okay, that's why I was confused. C-suite meaning. C-suite refers to executive level managers within a company. Okay, so usually CEO, CFO, COO, and the CIO. Oh, the C-suite, because they all start with C's. I get it. Oh man, you guys are so smart. Thank you, Cloud. Durant says, while he makes a lot of assumptions, he makes a lot of less assumptions than 39 IQ. Yeah, you're right, Durant. That's true. The comms rat takes into account the previous livers. The law rat is the current events. Ah, really? I love the different rats. They're so funny. That's awesome. All right, thanks for letting me know, Dozimo. And thanks for following Flexible Wait, it's not. Flexible Pichu. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my goodness, is my tea gone? Hold on. I drank all the tea. Okay. And while I was reading the tea, I also drank the tea. Oh! Flexible says, found you through this Nijisanji coverage. Keep up the good work. Ah, thanks so much, Flexible. Meow. I will. Thank you. And he says, welcome, Flexible. 1 second. Hold on. Sorry. I had to just get a little bit more water. Mad King says, mental health days in Nijisanji. That's hopeful. I'm sorry, throwing shade. No, you're right, Mad King. Because it's the bigger problem that nobody wants to talk about is just kind of the Japanese work culture and how difficult that can be. You know, but obviously it's not something that they're willing to change, because it works for them. But it's not when it comes to like the entertainment industry. Definitely, there's more care involved, right, with the talents. You know, so like, for example, you know, nameless, faceless office guy. You know, it's hard for the public to be like, yeah, go that guy. But when it's like a talent who like has, you know, like entertained you and gotten you through hard times, you know, and you see them struggling, you care about them, right? But really, we should be caring about everybody. But it's just because you don't know the nameless, faceless person, you know, it's hard to advocate for them because you're like, I'm more personally connected to this VTuber or this person, right? But yeah, it's just yeah, the work culture needs to change, but also, I don't know if it's possible to like overhaul an entire country's work ethic. Probably not, right? So I mean, maybe they can start a little bit in this industry, but I just don't. It's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when people are treated poorly in a workplace. It's heartbreaking when people, you know, make an attempt on their lives. It's all very sad, right? So you want to make the workplace better. So I think that's the learning lesson here, right? Is that like we really need to like change the work-life balance needs to get better, you know, and especially like with inventions like modern technology, like inventions like AI and like robotics and stuff like that. You would think that we'd have a little bit more, you know, help, a little bit more help, right? So we can spend time with our families and make the memories that we really want to do, right? But like a lot of times AI is kind of used for evil, and it's kind of like, oh, that's not where I expected humanity to be. Oh, well, this is interesting. It's like, why don't you just make like the, you know, office AIs, and then, you know, human beings, we can just go make more art, because, you know, art's fun and different and creative, and really at the end of the day, like, you know, I feel like we all just want to get back to our, you know, Grecian days of just eating grapes and drawing silly art, you know? Like, I feel like that's what humanity is about, you know? Like, we're such creative and interesting beings, you know? And it's just, it sucks that, like, a lot of us are trapped by poverty and, you know, there's no fun. There's no fun, right? We stopped having fun, but we need to have fun, you know? Anyways. I don't know, I'm just going on a rant here. But, Mad King, I hope you understand. But, yes, they definitely need, they definitely need to do some changes. Whether or not they will, it's a bigger conversation. But we'll see. They're probably not going to. They're probably going to go with option 1 that the comms person suggested. I personally like option 2, but that takes a lot more work. Ugh. Nico says, Japan is nasty if they're a bad-mouthing doki bird. Japan is also the F word, so you would think that Japan would be on doki side. I don't know. Thank you so much for the hydrate, Mad King. It's a beautiful. Thanks, it's beautiful. I linked the Canadian one in Discord. It's scheduled for tomorrow. Ooh, interesting. That'll be interesting. Canadian what? It's a Canadian lawyer chiming in on Doki Nijisanji. That's right, that's right. Dozy says, Niji EN needs daily stand-up meetings. Oh my god, yes, Dozy. Okay, as stupid as those are, because I remember going to like daily stand-ups and I was like, this is stupid. They're actually quite useful. They're actually quite useful because you can take, oh, nyang nyang. Oh, nyang nyang, nyang nyang. Thank you so much, nyang nyang. Thanks for the head pat, Vulcan. Thank you so much. Oh, I love me a good head pat. Thank you, nyang nyang. But yeah, I remember daily stand-ups. You can take a little problem and nip it in the bud before it becomes a really big problem. And that takes communication, that takes effort, that takes like, you know, care. It takes care, honestly. At the end of the day, the place I did daily stand-ups actually was also a crap place. But, you know, it's sometimes a crap corporation's just gonna be crap, you know? Thank you so much for watching the video. Shout out to my patrons that help make these videos possible. If you want to help support the channel, you can always join me on Patreon, subscribe to me on Twitch, or become a member on YouTube. I also have links to merch in the description below. As always, I appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!